This is 30-year-old Deobra Redden, who is in a Nevada court for battery felony. Redden was out on probation, but that didn't stop him from assaulting someone with a baseball bat. In court, Redden tried to convince the judge that he had turned a new leaf.
Applying it to my personality and having an epiphany at that moment, in those instances, and just like trying to learn from my mistake. But if it's appropriate for you, then you have to do what you have to do. But I figure that, if I'm in a better place in my life, I'm not doing drugs, I'm not out there committing crimes now, and I feel like I should be given a shot.
However, considering Redden's history of violence, the judge wasn't convinced.
I appreciate that, but I think it's time that he gets a taste of something else because I just can't with that history.
Although Redden is no stranger to violence, his action in court shocked even the most daring convict. Luckily, deputies quickly intervened and restrained him. In 2024, Redden was sentenced for his initial assault case by the same judge he attacked.
Good morning. All right, this is on for the continuation of Mr. Redden's sentencing. When we were last here, arguments were concluded and the court had begun to pronounce sentence when an incident occurred, an incident initiated by Mr. Redden, preventing the court from completing sentencing. That is the sole purpose for today's hearing. Any other issues that may arise from the events that occurred last Wednesday will be handled at a future date by a different court. For purposes of the record, I want to make it clear that I am not changing or modifying the sentence I was in the process of imposing last week before I was interrupted by defendant's actions. All right, that being said, in accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada, this court does now sentence you in addition to the $25 administrative assessment fee, $150 DNA fee, the $3 DNA administrative assessment fee, and $250 indigent defense fee, 19 to 48 months in the Nevada Department of Corrections.
Redden is in prison and is still awaiting trial for the assault case. If you think Redden's case was shocking, you would be blown away by Cial Angelo, a 25-year-old Tongue and Crip gang member who is in a Utah court on several charges, including robbery, weapons offenses, and assault. According to the police, Angelo and 17 gang members were arrested for gang-related racketeering. He was also accused of being involved in the 2007 shooting of 2 U.S. Marshals.
Angelo was an accused member of a violent Crip street gang known for robbery, assault, and gun crimes.
In court, a former member of Angelo's gang took the stand and testified about the gang's activities. In what seemed like a scene from a John Wick movie, Angelo grabbed a pen and rushed toward the witness. Luckily for the witness and unluckily for Angelo, the U.S. Marshal behind the witness acted quickly.
Don't fucking move. Drop the pen. Drop the pen out of your hand. Drop it out of your hand.
Angelo was rushed to the hospital, but he didn't make it. No one else was hurt in the incident. However, Angelo wasn't alone in the courtroom madness. There is the notorious case of Melissa Hardwick, who is in a Kentucky court for a domestic violence order filed by her husband. As the hearing began, the husband shared what led to him filing the motion.
You and the respondent were married in the past and have children in common, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And were the statements you made in your petition true and correct at that time?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you willing to make those statements part of your sworn testimony here today?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are you asking the court to enter an order restraining the respondent from any contact with you?
Yes, Your Honor.
I've taken your statements in your petition as part of your testimony, but I need you to tell me briefly, in your own words, what happened to cause you to ask for a domestic violence order.
Yes, Your Honor. Things have been escalating, I guess, since the first of the year. And Melissa's had a couple MIWs and a couple arrests. And she got out of jail in, I guess, April. And she started, we hadn't really had anything personal up until that point. She got out of jail in April.
But Hardwick has no intention of letting her violent actions be shared publicly.
And she
My
started.
personal life is
No.
none of your business, John. It has nothing to do
The judge wasn't pleased with Hardwick's behavior, but she doubled down.
Miss Hardwick,
boys. No.
you will be held in contempt of this court if you
I
become
don't
disruptive.
care. I haven't done anything to this court. I haven't done anything to
Okay.
him.
So the judge had no option but to punish her.
She will be
It
arrested
doesn't
for
make
contempt
any-
of
It doesn't
court.
make any difference.
You will serve 10 days for contempt of court.
As if her disrespect wasn't enough, Hardwick took her craziness 10 notches higher.
Go now.
But she was quickly restrained by officers.
Get off of me!
Hands behind your back.
Wait and see.
Shut your girl. Great shit.
Get my bracelet off the
Shut
floor.
your mouth. Look at
Get it.
Hardwick was ordered to participate in a rehabilitation program for some years after she was released from jail. However shocking Hardwick's actions were, it doesn't compare to the wild actions of Sidney Newsom, who is facing domestic violence charges in Mississippi. The proceedings were going smoothly until an officer drew his attention with a tap on the table. Newsom eventually relaxed, but the mood had already been set. He soon caused a commotion, prompting the judge to order his removal from court. That's when the real commotion started. Newsom first attacked with a bundle of papers, sending the court clerks scampering for safety. When that didn't injure the judge, he went for something heavier, a telephone. Next, he overthrew the clerk's computer. The judge, finally recognizing the severity of the situation, stepped in to support the transport officer. Shortly after, more officers rushed in to intervene. Newsom was charged with contempt of court and spent 2 days in jail for his troubles. However, this wasn't the only time a convict attacked a judge. Joseph Zeeler did something similar in his murder trial in Cape Coral, Florida. In 1990, Zeeler strangled 11-year-old Robin and her babysitter, Lisa. The case remained unsolved for 26 years, until Zeeler's DNA led to his arrest in 2016.
Accused of the rape and murder of 11-year-old Robin Cornell and 32-year-old Lisa Story is being held without bond tonight.
Now, in court, Zeeler argued that he is innocent.
Earlier witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Please tell the jury your name.
Joseph Adam Zeiler.
Are you the defendant in this case?
Yes.
May I approach?
Approach.
Mr. Zeiler, let me show you what's been previously identified as our Exhibit A. Can you tell me what that exhibit is?
That's a picture of me and my son who's clutching my back, and my cousin, one of two twins, Danny.
How old are you in that picture?
26.
What color hair do you have in the picture?
Hold on, let me think about that. How old I was, sorry. I guess I was, I'll say 26. I have a problem with dates.
To somebody who is living in the house and who needed to go on, who are those references about?
That's our son together, Zachary.
Okay. At any point in time in the letter, were you making any admissions to having committed this offense?
Zachary's offense?
No.
No.
The offense for which you're charged in this courtroom?
No, not at all.
What were you referring to?
I was referring to my altercation with my 26-year-old drunken son.
All right. Was there a warrant for you out of Chicago issued in 1987?
Yes.
Did you make reference in either the phone calls or the letter to those warrants?
Well, yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about the stuff we talked about before.
Mr. Zeiler, you've heard experts testify in this case that they are convinced that at least one, if not all three, of the sites of semen or of other bodily fluid that were placed on the bed sheet, the pillow, and or the exterior of the young lady's genitalia was your semen. Is that possible?
No, it's not.
He had no sympathy for the victims.
That's the piece of paper right here that they're trying to hide from you.
Mr.
Right
Zeiler.
Here. I still see the body of 11-year-old
Mr.
Robin
Zeiler.
Cornell with the hair of her
Ladies and
killer.
gentlemen, the jury will step out.
The blonde hair of her killer.
Today,
Please.
Zeiler stunned just about everyone by taking the stand in his own defense. It was chaotic, and at one point he flipped off our camera.
Well, nobody would listen to me, so I was trying to defend myself.
He even insulted Robin's mother.
In 1989, and therefore that's why your DNA is in the Courtyard's North condominium.
Yes, I thought so because she didn't wash her sheets.
You know whether or not Miss Cornell washes her sheets?
How I got that is by the information I was given from you was discovery, and I thought that the only way my DNA could have gotten there was me sleeping with Jan Cornell and Leanne Deller.
Did you sleep with Jan Cornell and Miss Deller?
It's possible because I was here.
Well, now you were here.
I mean, I was here in December of '89. I testified to that earlier. And what I believe happened is I slept with Jan Cornell and Leanne Deller, and they were just too much of a pig not to wash their sheets. I was here for the month of December.
And then it would have to follow that your DNA would have stayed viable
for
let me finish my question. For if it was January, February, March, April, May of 1990, and then, well, okay, I don't want to make it a compound question. Your DNA would have still been there 5 months later.
Yes.
And that's because they're pigs and they don't wash their sheets, right?
Exactly.
You know that?
Well, I assume that, just like you're assuming that
But just so the record's clear, when I said they're pigs and they wash their sheets, that's what you said.
Absolutely.
And exchanged words with the prosecutor.
Well, the DNA witnesses, did you hear them say that they actually did retest NB32, that they actually took the sheet, recut another sample, and had another analyst do the same test? Did you hear that?
Yes.
So the retesting was done.
I believe FDLE is siding with the prosecution. Of course they're going to say that.
Okay, and their opinion on that was that Jan Cornell was excluded from that DNA.
I don't think she was. I think that if it was listed, that's the reason I asked for it to be retested, because I don't believe that.
However, Zeiler reserved the craziest action for his attorney. After 5 hours of deliberation, the jury reached a decision.
Receive the verdict. Madam Clerk, please publish the verdict.
In the Circuit Court of the 20th Judicial Circuit in and for Lee County, Florida, criminal action, State of Florida versus Joseph Adam Zeiler, case number 16 CF 455. Verdict. We, the jury, finds as follows as to the defendant, Joseph Adam Zeiler, in this case, count 1, first-degree murder of Robin Cornell. Aggravating factors. We, the jury, unanimously find that the state has established beyond a reasonable doubt that Joseph Adam Zeiler was previously convicted of another capital felony or a felony involving the use or threat of violence to another person, yes. We, the jury, unanimously find that the state has established beyond a reasonable doubt that the first-degree murder was committed while Joseph Adam Zeiler was engaged in the commission of or an attempt to commit a burglary, yes. We, the jury, unanimously find that the state has established beyond a reasonable doubt that the first-degree murder was especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel. Yes. We, the jury, unanimously find that the state has established beyond a reasonable doubt that the first-degree murder was committed in a cold, calculated, and premeditated manner without any pretense of moral or legal justification. Yes. Jury verdict as to death penalty. Having unanimously find that at least one aggravating factor has been established beyond a reasonable doubt, at least 8 jurors recommend that Joseph Adam Zeiler should be sentenced to death. Yes. By a vote of 10 for a sentence of death and 2 for a sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole for 25 years.
Now, Zeiler gets what he deserves.
The court concludes that under the laws of the state of Florida, the defendant has forfeited his right to live.
The 60-year-old would never see the outside of a prison wall. Unlike Zeiler, David Paradiso has a different plan. In 2006, he fatally stabbed his girlfriend, Eileen Pelt. Now in court, Paradiso stabbed Judge Cinda Fox multiple times with an unidentified sharp weapon, forcing Detective Eric Bradley to shoot him. Judge Fox was wheeled out from the court and rushed to the hospital.
Paul, keep that area clear. We got somebody else coming out.
Fortunately, she survived, however. Paradiso's injuries were fatal. If you thought these convicts were crazy, you'd be shocked at this video of cop killers reacting to death sentences.